welcome to
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to
Everything Entertainment.
So, sis, you are up first this week.
Yes.
What do you have?
Okay, so this is a movie that it's not the best movie.
Okay.
It's not the worst movie.
Okay.
But it's one of those movies like, how is this, what is the point of this movie?
Oh, are you getting ready to talk about what I think you're going to talk about?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm going to talk about The Wrath of Becky.
Oh, no, I definitely don't know about that.
The Wrath of Becky. It is on Netflix. And I don't even think was there anybody in it that I knew?
Okay.
I don't think that it is. It was I would say it's a to-be movie with Netflix money. how it was put together. So I'll tell you who the cast is. Oh, well, there's one person that everybody knows. Most people know. So Lulu Wilson actually plays Becky, who is a young teenage woman. You have Sean William Scott, who is he's from all the American Pie movies, Stifler.
Oh, yes.
So he is in this movie. You have Denise Burse, who plays Elena. Jill Larson, who it surprised me in this movie, as Daryl Sr.
Okay.
Yeah. Sean William Scott is Daryl Jr. Michael Cero, who plays Anthony. Aaron Dallavia, who plays DJ. Matt Angel, who plays Sean, and Courtney Gain Twiggs, who plays Twigs. Everybody else in this, like, they just kind of are there, but they're not really in the movie. These are the main characters.
Okay.
These people are the main characters. Okay, so Wrath of Becky it's about a young teenage orphan.
Okay.
Now, so you figure out how she becomes an orphan and things with her parents. Her parents are killed. They're slaughtered, murdered in front of her. So she is full of rage and anger because she saw these people killed. Yeah, saw it happen. And it was all over this one random key.
Okay.
Just a random key. Now, this is the thing that I don't like about the movie.
All right.
The random key is part of the movie, but you only see the key twice in the entire movie.
So this is what they care about is the key.
That's what I thought, but that's not what it is. Like, I thought that the movie was about to be about a key, but I guess the end makes you think that it could be another movie or something like that, how it ends.
Okay.
But anyway, it's the teenage orphan girl, Becky, and her dog, Diego.
Okay.
Now, Diego has been her dog her entire life. If she says, Diego, attack, like, Diego is a big cane corso.
Ooh, yeah,
but he's just like he's not aggressive until she says something.
Okay.
So he'll just stand around.
Hanging out.
Yeah, he's just hanging out. She'll tell him to sit down. He'll sit down. He'll chill. He won't move or anything, stuff like that. So, but her being this young orphan, she tries anything and everything to get away from her foster parents.
Okay.
So it's like she's in and out of foster homes, and like she goes to this one foster family, and she's like, "Oh my God, yes, can we pray before we eat food?" And they're just like, "Oh my God, this little girl, she's so awesome. Like, she wants to pray before we eat food." And she's like, she wants to know all about us. Did she just call me dad?
Oh, wow.
The girl was dropped off an hour ago. So, that would have been a red flag to me about, okay, we need to get her to therapy right now. Yeah, she's trying really hard, and this is for a reason. So she does anything and everything to get away from it, and she has a lot of stuff that goes on with her. So she runs away, and this is like the first 5 minutes of the movie. She runs away from her foster parents, and it's her and the dog. Runs away.
Okay.
And now she's basically on her own. So you don't watch her go through everything, but the credits are rolling. They show a cartoon image of her being out with Diego, the dog, underneath a tarp while it's raining, and she's like, scared. It's kind of like how Marvel would do, like they like a comic book type drawing of things that she went through while she was leaving from this foster home. So you see her walking around and trying to get food, going to the store, stealing food, different stuff. Yeah. Somebody coming up to her and Diego is attacking, whatever. So she ends up making friends with this older black lady, and that's Elena.
Okay.
Now they have this kind of understanding about each other. It's like, you don't ask me no questions, I don't ask you no questions, but you were a child and I see that you need help. So she's with Elena. I don't know how long she's with Elena. It doesn't necessarily say, but it's like Becky ends up working at a diner,
Okay.
and she's basically the caretaker for Elena. So what does she do? She comes home and she's like, hey, I made this, and hey, let's sit down. And they sit down, and it's now Becky trying to pull stuff out of Elena, and Elena doesn't want to talk. So she's just like, okay, so, we're going to say, instead of them saying grace, they say what they're thankful for. So, she was like, I'm thankful that I woke up this morning. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that. She was like, you say the same things every time. She's like, my house, my rules. This is how I feel with the saying this. And Becky would try to say like different things. Every time Becky would say something different.
Okay.
But Elena kept saying the same thing over and over again. She was like, that's not fair. But you could see how they were kind of like close because they were the two oddballs out.
Okay.
Like, I guess Elena saw, okay, this little girl needs help and needs something from me. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and I'll give her room and board. That's what she needs, but I'm not going to mother her at all. Like, you are on your own.
Okay.
But I am here for you. Like, if you need something, I got you. But I'm not just going to give you anything.
Yeah. Okay.
I gave you a home. That's it. So they have this, like, it's a weird relationship, but it works. So now Becky is working at a diner. And as she's working at this diner, one guy is sitting at the bar, and he's just like, hey, sweetheart. And she's just like, what does my name tag say? He said, Becky. She said, therefore, my name is not sweetheart. So you call me by Becky. And he was just like, sweetheart, I want blah, 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 blah. And she just looks at him. And then next thing you know, she's smashing a plate. She's slitting his throat. She's just standing there looking at him doing it. But then what happens? Cut to her not doing it. Yeah. And she's just like, I have those a lot. She was like, I don't act on those. She said, but I do have those where I want to, because she's narrating her own story, where I want to, do something evil to someone. So now these three guys come in. And as these three guys come in, she's sitting there, and they're just like, they walk up to where she's sitting at the front of the diner. And they're just like, so you going to give us a table? You're just going to stand here. And then another guy's just like, oh, your name is Becky? What kind of woman is your mom to name you Becky? I'm pretty sure that she would be a good time, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow.
So now she's rubbed the wrong way from them walking inside. So she's just like, okay, follow me to your table. Now, she takes him to the table, and they're like, can we get some water, some coffee? She was like, yeah, I'm coming right up. So she brings the coffee over. And as she brings coffee over, she hands it to one guy is one nice guy, and there's two a-holes.
Okay.
So she hands the one guy's coffee. She hands another guy who was talking about, like, what kind of mother do you have, blah, 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 his coffee, because he's right there beside her. He was like, thank you. Great presentation. He's just like a smart ass the entire time. So, and then the other guy, he had said something. He called her like a bee or whatever. So what she do? She takes the coffee, puts it down on the table, and then slides it over to him and makes it fall in his lap. Now I'm thinking, oh man, she's done it again. But then she says, I meant to do that. So she's actually done it. So now they're upset and they're angry, and he's standing up, he's cussing her out and everything, and then finally her shift's over, she leaves, she goes home. Now this is probably the first 15 minutes.
Wow.
Now, when she gets home, she's talking to Elena. They're doing their thing. And no, she comes in the house and she doesn't see Elena. So she's just like, wait, where's Diego? She don't see her dog either. So, and it's really quiet in the house. And as she looks around, then the guys are there. So now they're in this house because they had followed her home, and they were trying to like scare her. They were like, trying to do something to her.
Wow.
But what happens after that is when everything hits the fan. You know how Kill Bill, when Beatrix has that rage point when it's like like that, it's like one of those that ends up happening to her. It's like it's not a Tarantino type style, but it's like she's just angry, and like they pull a gun out on her, and she's just sitting there, and you can see her calculating in her head. But then something happens after that, and she gets up and she's mad. And I wish that she didn't scream and yell as she's getting up, like, ah! You just get up and get it.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Don't announce that you're about to do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
So, some stuff happens. She wakes up, and now she's trying to piece together everything that happens. Now, with her living with Elena, she has now picked up, she I guess because of how she saw her father die and her having that key that her father had.
Yeah.
She is, okay, if they're coming after my dad for this key, they're going to come after me for this key.
Makes sense.
So now she is her own kind of Laura Croft, where she's running around jumping over trees, flips and everything. And as she's running, she falls into a pit. She had made a pit, like, to, if somebody was to come after her, she would be able to run around the pit because she has the camouflage and leaves all over it. But she wasn't even paying attention and fell into it. So she comes in, so she's like saying, like, you know, she had told Elena, she was like, I fell in the pit. She was like, yeah, I looked and I saw your head. She said, then I ain't see you no more. Oh my gosh. And then she was like, yeah, I had to dig my way out of the pit. So now, so you see all of that with her. Mm-hmm. With how she's just like, she's taking a knife, pulling it out of her sheath and throwing it straight at a tree, and it hits like dead center. So it's like, oh, she's ready.
Yeah, she's been practicing.
She's ready for anything to happen. Yeah. So now Diego's gone. Those 3 guys have Diego. So now she's like, I want my dog.
Right.
So I was like, this is like a John Wick film.
Not
the dog is dead.
From Laura Croft.
Yeah.
To what did you say? Quentin Tarantino.
Now we're at John Wick.
Now we're at John Wick.
Yeah. So she then sees how she can track down these guys. Once she does, she overhears him talk about a guy named Daryl. We got to get to Daryl. So she goes to this one house trying to find Daryl, and she is suited up. Like, she has on, like, it almost looks like a red Ghostbusters suit. Like, you know, that you would, like, step in if you were a painter and zip up or whatever. Okay, and then she has this big backpack with God knows what's in it.
Okay.
And she's just walking around, and she goes to this one house, and it's the lady Daryl. And she was like, are you Daryl? She was like, yeah, I am. She was like, what? A woman can't have a man's name? Like, you know? Mm-hmm. And she was like,
yeah, Daryl Hannah.
Yeah, she was like, okay, yeah, sorry, you're not the Daryl I'm looking for. So then she leaves, and then she was like, there's only 2 Daryls that are in this town. So she's going to the next one, and then she sees those 3 guys. And that's when her wrath comes out. And I was like, you go, Becky.
Okay.
Because she was so strategic with everything. And there's one part where you could see her rage come out when she has a machete. And there was no more man left.
Oh, boy.
It was like chopped cheese.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and she's just completely... that was Quentin Tarantino, blood flying everywhere.
Of course, yeah.
So it was like that part. But she just... was so smart, and they're just like, this is just a little girl. It's like, no, she's not a little girl. She is a rage monster that you didn't even know. You thought she was just a sweet, innocent girl that was being mean to you at the diner. And now she is coming back for her revenge.
Yeah, she's got a vengeance.
Now, these 3 guys are actually going to this guy Daryl's house, and she sneaks into the guy Daryl's house. And as she sneaks in there, she finds out that they are actually going to a rally to where they're going to, I guess it's called... Nobleman is the name of their crew or whatever. Okay. It's basically like the KKK.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's like a good old boys or was it Proud Boys type thing.
Gotcha.
Type nobleman thing. So she is there and she hears them coming, so she has to, hide. But she hears all of their plans of what they're about to do. Mm-hmm. And now she used that strategically to go ahead and bring back her wrath as well. And the way that this girl goes through this movie is, I'm like, that is so awesome. Like,
wow.
If I was a girl who went through that, I would aspire to be
her.
I would aspire to be that hard, to be like, I'm going to make sure I'm the toughest. So then that way, if anything was to come for me, I can, I can defend myself.
Ready.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah, great movie, but pointless movie, but not really, it's not a good movie, but I feel like it's a great movie for how they portrayed her and what she does, the things that she does in the movie. Great storyline.
Okay. All right.
Like that was a little excessive. With
Did they leave it where it could be another movie after
Yes,
that?
they did leave it to where it could be another movie after that, but I don't know if it's going to be. It could be. I mean, it's Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix always has like
They do things their way.
things.
And then next thing you know, something everybody loves, like The Residents.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
they just chop it out.
Yeah, so but yeah, I enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, I'm cheering her on. I was like, I know that's right. I know that's right. And it's like, funny. Because they're like, it's just a little girl, and you don't know how old she is the entire movie. Wow. Because Elena says, well, you're 18, right? And she goes and puts her head down and keeps eating her food. So you don't know.
So she's probably younger than 18.
Yes.
Well, or she could be older, and you're like, oh,
no. I think that she's younger because when she was still in the foster system.
Oh, right. Yeah, so she can't.
And I don't know how long that she was like out on the streets, leaving from that foster home till she got with Elena.
Yeah.
So I don't know any of that. So you don't know. She could be anywhere from 15 to 18.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good
And she's a badass.
Okay.
And I thought it was dope.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what's it on?
It's on Netflix. Check it out. It's called Wrath of Becky.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So what do you have next, sis?
I have Netflix too, and it's called Being Eddie.
Being Eddie. Yeah.
So this is the Eddie Murphy documentary that I thought was done spectacularly.
Okay.
Like, I really, really enjoyed
I started to watch it, but then I was starting to fall asleep, and I was like, let me turn. I was like, but no, I was starting to fall asleep because I was tired.
But I'm saying,
so I was like, I was like, let me turn this off and put on something else so I could just go ahead and drift off to sleep.
Yeah, you got to watch it as you are. Like, it's one of those things that you really have to pay attention to because his life is so.
Yeah, it's
vast.
a documentary of his life that is made by him.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And a lot of times I'm like, when the person makes it, you're like, well, they're only going to show the good sides of them. They're not going to show anything that's bad or negative or whatever. But then as I watched this about Eddie, I was like, he's different. And that's why he became who he is. Like, he doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He said he didn't do cocaine or anything like that, even though people, Belushi and them, were rolling it out in front of him and all that. And he's like, no, not doing any of that. He said he didn't even do weed until he was in his 30s.
Yeah, because he was definitely smoking weed on the documentary.
Yeah, was he?
He was sitting there talking at one time, and smoke was just all flying, like sifting all in front of him. So I was like, I didn't think he smoked cigarettes. But I saw the smoke.
He said he didn't smoke cigarettes. He didn't smoke cigars. Like, he doesn't smoke.
Yeah, so I was like, maybe.
Which is probably why he looks so good.
Oh, yeah, that's very true. Because his skin is immaculate.
I mean, where are the wrinkles? The man is older.
And he doesn't look like he had anything done to his face. Because, usually people have, like, their cheeks are, like, super big.
He does not look like he's having work at all. So he's just living a nice, healthy, water-filled life.
Yeah.
So therefore, but no, what I liked about this documentary, first of all, is that he is here to tell his story. Yes. And he is telling his story from a perspective of, look, I've done so many things.
Oh, yeah. I love how he started off on all the things that he was like, I was a villain. What did he say? He said, I was poor.
He's been a singer, though. He's been an actor.
He was like, I was dancing in the clouds with Michael Jackson. He said, and I was even a rocket ship. He said, I don't think anybody should ever be a rocket ship.
Yeah, exactly. But he's the donkey. He was doing the vampire thing. He's done multiple characters. He's been I want that naive. He's been in commercials. He's been.
I have no legs. He's been in so many things.
So much. And he said he does not think there's another entertainer out there that has done the variety of things that he did. Stand-up comedy. Plus acting. Plus singing.
Yeah, stand-up comedy is so young.
Right, exactly. And he talks about that too, because he said that basically when he was younger, he said all he knew was ice cream. Because his mom and dad, his actual biological father, used to argue and stuff like that, and that's some of his first memories. But at the same time, when his dad left to be with the mistress, that then killed him. So there's that. But then,
that's a lot of things. That happens a lot.
It happened a lot back in the day.
I mean, back in the day, because apparently that same thing happened to Lisa Ray.
Oh, really? I didn't know
That happened to her father.
Gotcha. Yeah. So then what happens is that his mom remarries, and the stepfather is what he feels like is his true,
Vernon Lynch.
Yes, his true dad. And, just in regards to taught him how to be a man.
Yeah, he said he was a great father
boxing
figure.
and all of this kind of stuff. So he really got to experience somebody who could teach him how to be a father, basically. And so he also talks about the work ethic that he, instilled and all that, but he was doing ice cream. So because of that, he was like, we had so much ice cream, we threw it away. It was just not a thing. But he said that around 12 or 13, he was like, I'm going to be famous. I want to be famous. I want to be on this TV box, and I want people to know me. People are going to know who I am by the time I'm 18. And he believed that with his heart and soul, which shows the manifestation is real. So he literally was like, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be famous. And he said that when he was 18, he had done a few things locally, but he wasn't quote unquote famous. But by 19, he was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing, because I had no idea he was that young on Saturday. I probably thought he was 23, 24 or something like that on Saturday Night Live. I had no idea that he was only...
but they said he did stand up for different schools and stuff like that.
He would just
when
go
he
around.
what did he say, he was 15,
he was 16. And he said, I didn't even have any experience with this. I'm just talking about going to the bathroom.
And then he said, I was talking about going to the bathroom. He said, but my thing was I was a good impersonator.
Mm-hmm. So he would always do with his comedy impersonations, and he, I think, was doing Cosby back then.
Yeah, he did Cosby, and he said he started off with Richard Pryor. He said, I want to be like Richard Pryor.
Wanted to be like Richard
But then
Pryor.
there was a video showing of him, and he was just like, when I first started, I was just doing, imitations of, Richard Pryor. And then he goes into it, and if you close your eyes, you cannot tell that is not Richard Pryor.
Right, that's the thing. It's and he's one of those people that when he does the impression, he kind of morphs.
Yeah, you can see.
You can see Bill Cosby.
He has the mannerisms.
He has the facial, and the mannerisms. If he's impersonating, and he didn't do it in the documentary, but he's done it before, of Tracy Morgan. And I'm like, if he sits with his body the same as Tracy Morgan, and he talks, all of it, he embodies that person that he's
And I need Tracy Morgan to go ahead and let that fake hair on his head go.
I didn't really know anything about that, but I don't pay attention.
Oh, no, because he got waves that go in a diagonal, and they're thick, and you can't see his scalp at all. So I'm like, bruh, stop going to them dudes in Atlanta and letting them paint your head and then put...
Okay, we're talking about Eddie.
I know, but it's just Tracy Morgan. Just let it go.
So, but the documentary, what I like is that they have his younger brother on here. He's in the
Charlie
documentary.
Murphy.
No, Charlie's older.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's right. Charlie was older. He's talking
I
about
did
his
not
younger
know
brother,
that until
Vernon
watching
Jr.
this documentary, that Charlie was older than...
I
had no clue my entire life.
Really? I think I did know that he was older.
This week's years old.
Okay.
When I realized that Charlie was the oldest. And I think not because Eddie looked older or Charlie looked younger, but I feel like it was more we knew Eddie.
Yeah.
So you just assumed, Eddie was the oldest, and then Charlie was
it's like Chris Rock and and Tony Rock.
Along, right?
Yeah, it's like, I'm pulling you up with me, bro. But it's but I'm actually...
I had no idea that Charlie was no, I would beat somebody's butt
he said,
we were growing up.
He said, because I can't go home to my mama with him having a busted up lip. Because they're going to say, what?
Worse.
Yeah, he's like, they're going to say, well, what did you do?
Right. So he's like, so I had to be his protector. And I love the fact that they had Charlie in the documentary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
I thought that was really special.
And they bought clips of him talking when he was on Chappelle.
Yeah.
And clips of him talking with Howard Stern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was
they brought him, and he was like, I just miss my brother, which is, just sad that he, his past and all of that. But I can't remember why or what happened as to him.
I can't remember. Did he have a heart attack or something like that? I can't remember exactly how he died.
Anyway, but they had him, so they talked about everything. They had a little clip of his mom and talking to her, and her just saying he was just always, looking at TV, and always, he was just an entertainer from childhood. And he knew he was going to be famous. So when he got on Saturday Night Live, it was almost like he got on there, but he didn't really know that, it was just this weird thing of I'm going to audition. Like, people are saying,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
you should go and do this. So he went and did it. And then he was like, wow, like,
This is the whole thing.
I did it, and I'm here,
yeah.
and this is it. Because he was first like, Saturday Night Live, what the heck is this thing, you know? And then what I love is that they had so many people who, for most of the comics and even actors and entertainers, it was before Eddie Murphy and after Eddie Murphy.
That's very true.
It was BE
and
AE, you know, so, and you wouldn't have thought that, like me watching him, because I watched him on Saturday Night Live when I was younger in the early 80s, and I watched him when he was in the Beverly Hills Cops and all of that. So watching it all unfold, but not realizing that, like he said in the movie, back then, there was only one.
Yeah.
One black male who could be that person. Yeah. It was Sidney Poitier. Then it became Richard Pryor. And then it became Eddie Murphy. So it wasn't like there were a whole bunch of different people. So you had like Stir Crazy, and it was Richard Pryor, and it was his time, and da-da-da. Then it was, now we have this new cat coming, and that's Eddie Murphy. And people were trying to pit them against each other and asking Richard all the time, like, well, what do you think about this new guy, Eddie Murphy? And, you know, Richard Pryor being Richard Pryor, he's like, I don't like him. Yeah. You know, I don't know, you know, da-da-da. And,
you stole my material.
And it's like, you don't know if he was being serious about not liking him, or if he was just like, well, I'm just going to be funny and say that I don't like him, because, of course, later they worked together on Harlem Nights and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But basically, you have Jamie Foxx in here talking about how, you know, Eddie Murphy impacted him. Chris Rock. You have Kevin Hart. You have
Dave Chappelle.
Tracy
Ellis Ross.
Morgan. Tracy Ellis Ross. You have... even
Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, Jerry Seinfeld. You have the guy who's SNL dated Kim Kardashian. What was his name? Pete Davidson. Like, all these people are just talking about how
even the SNL writers.
Yes.
The SNL and Laugh-In writers.
Yep. You had them. He talked about how, and they're just talking about, like, it was revolutionary, you know, just seeing him, them being able to grow up seeing him. But then also the fact that what he was doing and his style and everything, like with Pete Davidson, he was like, my dad passed away with 9/11. So I think his introduction was Donkey from you know, Shrek. And so he was like, oh, this is kind of, you know, cool, this guy's voice and everything. So he ended up coming across a CD or a DVD, I guess it was back then, or something, maybe not VHS, but of Raw or Delirious or whatever it was. And he said he put it in, and his mom's hearing all this profanity coming out, but Pete's cracking up laughing. And so Pete was like, yeah, my mom and I made this pact where she was like, you really shouldn't be listening to this. But she was realizing that your dad just died and you're cracking up laughing at something that's bringing you joy.
You can
when
watch
you should not really.
Yeah, when you should be mourning.
Right, exactly. So I'll let you watch it, but you can't repeat it. You cannot go to school and tell people that you're watching it, because then I'll get in trouble. But, like, you can go ahead and watch it.
I'm sure Pete Davidson still did.
I'm pretty sure he did it too. Come over to my house.
Yo, I saw this really cool guy. So he does the voice of Donkey.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but everybody talked about their first Eddie Murphy experience and them interacting or engaging with him. Chris Rock said that he happened to be at, like, Laugh Factory or something, and he was stacking chairs because he wasn't going to be on that night. And Eddie was like, no, you're going to go on in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And he was like, I was ready. I had my set. Like, I was ready to go. And he went out there. He said Eddie was in the audience doing his laugh. And he said that which everybody knew Eddie's laugh, what it was. He's since changed it.
Yeah, because I noticed it was totally different when he started laughing. I was like, what is this?
And Tracy Morgan talks about why it's different, so you can watch it to find out why he changed it. There's a lot of things like that about himself that he was so... Well, let me get back to the Chris Rock story. So basically, Chris Rock was like, I went on there, I did my set. Next thing I know, I'm like an opening act for him, and I'm going around and doing things, and I'm in Boomerang with him, and all these things kind of opened up for him because of that. And then you had where... it was what was I just saying that I was going to go back to?
You were talking his laugh.
Oh, his laugh. Yeah,
how
well,
he
it was his laugh
things.
and how he changed that. But he also said he has OCD. So he has obsessive compulsive disorder.
Okay.
So he said when he was younger.
I could see that. I could definitely
And I
see
think
that.
that's probably why he recognized it when he was like before probably 10 or 11 years old. And I think because of that, he never got into drugs and never got it. He was self-aware enough to know that if I go down this path, it's not going to be good. Path.
Yeah, I'm not going to be on TV if I do this. I can't continue my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what he said is that when he was little, like 8, 9 years old, he would go to bed. No, he would check the gas on the stove and make sure all the eyes were off. Then he would go to bed. He would lay there for 10 minutes. He'd get up. He'd go back. Check and make sure all the gas knobs were off. Go back to bed. Get up. Come back. Check and make sure all the gas knobs are off. Da, 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 da. He said he would do that for like an hour before he would fall asleep every night, every 10 minutes. Sometimes it would get to 20. Then he was like, nope, I got to make sure. And he would just do that. He didn't know what it was. He was just like, this is just my routine. It's what I do. And he said one day he was looking at something on TV and they said, oh, that's obsessive compulsive disorder when people do blah, blah, blah repeatedly and they can't. And it's a mental, help themselves and it's a mental illness. And he said to himself, oh, I ain't got no mental illness. Like, I know that's what I do,
but I
don't
ain't got
have
that.
a mental illness. So I am going to stop doing that. No matter what, I am going to stop because I don't have
no matter how much it gets under my skin.
Exactly. And so he said he just literally weaned himself off of it. And he said sometimes, even to this day, he still checks the gas before he goes to bed every night. He has to do that. But he said, but he won't check it twice. If he does, he said there's a couple of times that he's checked it twice. And then he's like, all right, we ain't going down this path.
We ain't doing this no more.
It. So therefore, it's like being self-aware enough. And especially at a young age to be like, oh, that's what they're saying this is. I need to correct this about myself. And I think that's where a lot of the discipline came through for him as well. Because when you think about it, to go around and test the comedy before you go on stage and do the comedy takes a lot of discipline, especially when you were doing it at the level that he was doing it. And he said he was around with the old guard. Like he met Frank Sinatra. He could meet, all of these famous people, Sammy Davis Jr. or whoever. Like
the Rat Pack.
All these people who everybody else was like, you could just go somewhere and be like, oh, this person knows about me, that Marlon Brando, whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah, I want to sit down and talk to this guy. Like, can you invite that young black guy to come and have lunch with me? And he said, no, nobody ever does that. Nobody would say, I guess himself included, like, oh, this is a new and up-and-coming artist. Let me go ahead and have lunch with them and just pick their brain or talk to them and get to know them or whatever. And he said those were the kind of experiences that he had. And Chappelle was like, it was just this whole other type of world that it was. And it was only him, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and Prince that were the only nationwide, worldwide names that anybody knew. And then Eddie tells a story of like, even one time this Klansman, he was on TV and he was talking about how, I don't like any, the N-word.
Hard R's.
Hard R's. Yeah, I don't like that. And they were like, so you're saying that's not one black person?
And he's like, that Eddie Murphy.
He makes me giggle. Yeah. He that's the way he said. So then Eddie's like, me, of all people, like Klansmen would be like, oh, yeah, I like that guy, But they just show, him with Johnny Carson talking about, trading places. He's with Jay Leno. He's with David Letterman and just, sharing his experiences. They're talking about how it's just a whole other level of stardom that he had. But then he gives this funny story of him meeting with Steve Martin to talk about the movie both of them were in together. I forgot what it was called, but it was something, it was one word, and I can't think of the name of it to save my life. But anyway, and so that was the one where he, had the braces on and he looked like a little bit like Norbert or whatever. Yeah, Norbert. But, Norbert, but he wasn't that character. But anyway, and then he said that Steve Martin was like, okay, well, let's walk to this delicatessen and go, grab something to eat.
Katz's?
I don't know. And he said, he was like, well, he's thinking, he said, I almost said to Steve, why am my security around? So like, that would be weird. But he was like, I didn't feel like I could do that because Steve Martin wants to walk down the street. So
he's a big wig dude. Yeah.
Want to also walk down the street beside him. So he said that they're walking down the street and he's just thinking they're going to get mobbed by people and stuff. And he said, I guess because it was New York or whatever, you know, they walked like 10 blocks, he said. And people were just like, oh, hey, Eddie and Steve. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, wait, I don't need security like that. Like, you know, people will just be normal and not, you know, stress you out and everything. But yeah, so he talked about working with his idol, which was Richard Pryor, and him just absolutely loving.
He talked about him meeting his boxing idol, Muhammad Ali.
Yes, Muhammad Ali.
And he was talking all that smack that he normally talks, so I had to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of him with his fist like right at his face.
And I'm like, you know, you did not.
Yeah, you did not hit him. Yeah.
Come on now, son.
But that is a great picture to have, especially with your father figure being a boxer,
boxing person, right?
So it's like, and that's what you know. So it's like, oh man, like I am like a celebrity enough to actually meet my idol, my idols.
And then to have it where people look at you in that same way.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, oh my gosh, like I get to work with the Eddie Murphy. Like, are you serious? So
you know you're big when they say the in front of your name.
Or just say Eddie. I get to work with Eddie?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, he's talking about Eddie Murphy. What other Eddie would
it be?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be Eddie Griffin.
No, it's not gonna be Eddie Griffin. Yeah,
or Winslow.
No, definitely not. But basically, it's such a good documentary. It shows him with his kids and the family life. It shows him in his evolution, how he came up with the party all the time, and him and Rick James and that whole situation. He talks about how he had to bury Red Fox.
Yeah.
And, you know, and maybe Rick James, you know, and that, you know, he's like, all the things they did for other people, all the money that they spent, you know, and family, and even family can't, you know, help them out, you know, that kind of thing. He talks about how, you know, he was considered to be a sex symbol, and Tracy Ellis Ross talks about that to a degree, like, oh, that red leather suit. She was like, it was nothing sexy about that red leather suit.
At all.
However, it was something about him in that red leather suit that made it sexy, you know? And so she was just like, that was just, you know, the thing. And so, but it just, I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed how it was like, it was weird because it was like, it went and I was like, oh, it's getting ready to end. And then I would look at how much time was left and I was like, they still got an hour left. And then it was like, oh, it's still going. So it was
because you don't realize all the stuff that he's done.
So much stuff. And everybody, they had Adam Sandler in there too, talking about different things. Like when Adam Sandler was funny because he was like, oh yeah, so here you got Chris Rock, you know, because I guess they were all on Saturday Night Live at the same time. So it was like.
Well, didn't Eddie Murphy get fired from Saturday Night Live?
We'll talk about it. Nope, he didn't. Okay. But what happened was Chris Rock is on Saturday Night Live, but he's also in Boomerang and, you know, being in all of these, in this space of Eddie Murphy. And so Adam Sandler was like, he would come to work and we were like, so then what did you say? And then what did Eddie say? And then what did you say? Like, we just wanted to know, like, what is this interaction? Like, what is he sharing with you? Like, help us to understand because we're not having that same experience. So then Eddie does go into how after he left Saturday, I don't think he got fired. He didn't mention.
No, that was Chris Rock. I think Chris Rock went and was there for a taping, and then he got fired. I think that's who it was. I think I have it mixed up.
Eddie, what had happened was that he was already gone. He was chilling at home. He was relaxing. He was just doing, you know, his thing. Because he was like, I've made money. I've made movies. I'm good. His mansion is spectacular.
Oh, my God. How he has that whole middle section that's open. I want that.
He was like, oh, let me close the sunroof. And it's like a sunroof to your house.
I want that.
Crazy.
It doesn't have to be that big. But to have that's
the opening shot of the show, first of all. So
I saw that and I said, oh my God, that's going on my vision board.
Yep, there you go.
I don't care if it's just 8 by 8, 8 inch by 8 inch. I don't care.
8 foot by 8 foot. Can we at least do that? Come on now.
I'll give you. I mean, as long as it's something where it's like a atrium in the middle of my house.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. Yeah. It's gorgeous. And so Gosh, now I totally lost train of thought of where I was going with that conversation because we talked about it too
him
long.
being at home, him leaving, being done with Saturday Night Live, sitting at home
Yes.
chilling.
And so he's home, he's chilling in his, place because he was like, I want to make sure my home is comfortable to me and, my place that I want to be in. And so he said he's watching David Spade on Saturday Night Live talking about, oh, look at that, a fallen star. And it was a picture of Eddie Murphy. And so he was just like, wait, like almost, do people not know that I chose to like, not work anymore? Like, what are they talking about, a falling star? So everybody assumed when they found out Eddie was ticked off about it, that he was upset at David Spade. But he said, no, I'm upset. I guess partially to David Spade for coming up with the joke because, but he said, but it had to go through layers.
Yeah, it had to go through Lorne Michaels. So, I would be mad at Lorne Michaels that you let that go
that said that they had let that go and put that on television. Like, after all I did for Saturday Night Live, because he said that when they came in after the original cast, it was like, we were getting cursed out in the street. Like, we hate you all. We want the original cast.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so he was just ticked for over 20 years. Like, very upset. Screw Saturday Night Live and the horse that came in on, the whole 9 yards. So he did say later on, he was like, you know what? All right. That's something that I got to let go. Like, it is not that big of a deal. And that's when he decided, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do, I think it was that Christmas special that
everybody watched.
Wanted to come back to. And they brought on Dave Chappelle. They brought on Chris Rock. They brought on Tracy Morgan. They brought Keenan, he was there, but they brought him out and they all did the monologue kind of together. Yeah. And then they even showed the process of the monologue creation, which was pretty cool, of them practicing before. And they were like, so we're going to say, I guess Eddie had that question of like, when was the last time we were all together? And they were like, oh, just the other day at Sinbad's house. And they were like, is that funnier? Or is it at my house, at Eddie's house? Or is it funnier for us to be at Arsenio's house? Like, where would be a funnier place for us to be? And Arsenio's in here too, talking about
they're talking about it too. That's
too.
Right, yeah.
So you could just see the thought process of all of them together, and every single one of them, they were just like, this is so cool. Like, this is the best. Like, to be on the Saturday Night Live stage with Eddie Murphy. Running jokes with Eddie Murphy. And so with Michael Shea was in it too. And Michael Shea was like, at one point, Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock were both in my dressing room calling their moms to tell them they were going to be on the stage with Eddie Murphy. Like, that was how special this thing was. And like, everybody wanted to be there to see this happen because it had been so long and they knew he was so upset at Saturday Night Live. But then he said once he got there, it was like nothing changed. Like, breath of fresh air. Everything was wonderful. So, and they just practiced and, did so much stuff. And he went to some of his old, skits and things that he had done previously and all of that.
Was that what? Not Mr. Rogers, was it Mr. Jackson?
Mr. Robinson's
neighborhood, yeah.
And then get in the hot tub. I don't know if he did that again, but that was just funny. I can't even remember. I know he did the one where he was an elf. And that was ridiculous. And Santa and going crazy or something like that. And then I think maybe Gumby. I can't remember. But so then all of a sudden that opened up all these newer doors where it was like, oh yeah, Eddie Murphy is around. Let's go ahead and work with him. So he did Dolomite after that. Then he did all these other movies. When you think of him doing, what is it, Pay? What one did we just watch and talk about? Pay.
I can't remember the name of
the
it
one,
now.
With
Keke Palmer and
exactly.
Pete Davidson.
I can't even think of the name of it right now, but he did that. He's done the one where he was the father to Lauren.
People.
Yeah, You People. Like, it's just been on and on and on with all these new things that he's been doing, and of course everybody's like, and the man doesn't age, so he'll be doing dads instead of granddads probably until he's like 80.
Yeah, right.
Because he just looks so good and, is being fit and all of that. And so
the pickup,
that's it. Yeah. And so, so he just really enjoyed the experience of being on Saturday Night Live. He's done, of course, another Coming to America since then. He did, then they talk about him working with Jamie Foxx, or Jamie Foxx working with him in regards to being on Dreamgirls and that whole situation, him directing both Red Fox and Richard Pryor in the Harlem Nights.
Do they talk about Paul Mooney?
He talks about Paul Mooney, funny enough, because he said when he was a kid, his mom first bought him marionette dolls.
Yeah, that's what.
Ventriloquist dolls, right? Yeah, and so based on that, at the end of the movie, he has a Paul Mooney one.
I love
he has a Richard Pryor one, and he has a Bill Cosby one, and they look so real.
I wonder if he just ever goes in there and be like, "You want the pudding?"
They show he's literally doing it.
Doing it?
Before
Okay,
the movie ends.
Yeah.
He's literally doing it. He said one day that's what he would want to do is be on stage and have like a conversation with like all of these different characters, like him in the middle, but then you have Richard Pryor over here talking and, Bill Cosby over here talking and all of that. And then there's a lady, Val, who he met at Rick James' house. Who's basically like a grandma for his grandchildren or whatever. So she is like a confidant, a family friend. He said there's a lot of people who've been in my circle and a lot of people who's been kicked out, but Val's been there all along. So when you see him showing himself with his kids and stuff, you're like, who's that older lady with the blonde hair? Like, what is that? That's Val. She was a singer back then. And he was like, I love characters. She's a character. And so based on that, she's been around. And so when she's looking at him with his dolls at the end, she's like, where's my doll? And he was like, oh, she in the drawer upstairs. And she was like, I got to be in the drawer, but these men are out here. And so he goes and gets the doll that is Val, and he starts talking like her in front of her. So that's kind of hilarious too. But like, I basically barely touched.
Yeah, with everything that he's done.
Oh my God, this thing is probably, I don't even know how long it is. It's like almost 2 hours, probably. Like an hour and 40
But it's so
minutes.
much in that.
It's so much, and it's so good. And I would highly recommend for people to watch it. But he goes into marriage, divorce. He goes into, of course, having kids and still having kids.
Yeah, still having kids.
He's got a little young one. He goes into,
but he said that's what he does. He said he loves children.
Yeah.
He said, I love children. He said, those are my babies, and I love my babies.
Yeah, and it just goes into so many different areas, details, things that I would have never known. Like even him with the OCD, nobody would have ever known that. True. But he's opening up about that, and I think that's why for this documentary, it feels different because I'm like, he's different. He's not just showing all the good stuff. He's like, well, here's some good. Here's some interesting. And it's almost like at this point, there's not anything that's considered bad because he just had enough self-control that he didn't put himself in those situations. Like, I've never heard of him womanizing. I've never heard of him cheating on anybody. Maybe he did. I mean, that even today wouldn't even be that big of a deal. But you just never heard of that stuff. And he was like, he didn't like to party. Yeah. He didn't like going out to the clubs and stuff.
But I could definitely see that when Charlie Murphy starts talking about him and how he was when he was little. He was alone with his TV. Right. With the blanket over the table like it was his tent. And he was shut off from the world, and that was it. He was like, one day I'm gonna be on TV. He's like, I'm looking at this fool like, what are you even talking about? Right. Like, how is that even happen?
How many people
he was
like us on
he
there?
said, and it was probably one black lady on there, and he said whatever the name of the show was, Julia or something like that.
Julia with probably Diane Carroll.
Yeah, he said, and that was one black show on there, but he gonna be on TV. Oh, okay. And he made it happen.
Yeah, and him dressing up as all these characters, how to change his facial expression.
And you know what? When he did the voice of his father, I was like, oh my God, that is definitely with the voice on the Clumps.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, when he talks about his dad, and like when he was like explaining about his dad, it was like all that money for a picture, and I was like, oh my God, that's the voice that he's used for somebody else. So I wonder if he's taking bits and pieces of people's voices. Because I know that when he did the Jewish man's voice, he was like, oh, that was Long Island all day.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, that's the Jewish man in Long Island that sits like
he was like, that Eddie Murphy, I hate him. He's got a filthy mouth.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And that's the thing. He said that he would have to put the makeup on
in order to get into the character.
To help him get to, where is the voice of this character? Okay. In order for me to say, yes, it aligns with how this person looks. So he said that he just tested all that. He said, actually, if I'm not mistaken, the makeup artist would ask him questions and he would just answer. And until he could feel like he was the character itself, which makes sense because then you're like, yeah, that is kind of how somebody who looks like the mom would sound.
Yeah,
or how
exactly.
somebody who looks like the dad would sound. So
Yeah,
you
that's
just
so true.
Try the voices until you could figure it out. But a lot of other comedians were like, nobody was going to do that. Nobody was going to sit in a chair for all those
hours. With prosthetics on, hot, burning up.
Get out the chair, take it all off, put it all back on again to play the next character sitting at the table. And then take it all off and put it on again to play the next character sitting at the table. Like, how long this process
I wonder if that's where, what's his name? Mike Myers got all of his inspiration for all of his Austin Powers.
Yeah,
and those characters, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then he has a really funny story about Jesse Jackson with that I thought was hilarious. And then, a Bill Cosby story. Like, there's just so much. There's so much. Stevie Wonder story.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
when he was acting like Stevie Wonder.
I was going to tell it because I'm trying to like save some stuff for when people actually watch it because I feel like I share too much sometimes.
Well, I mean, but it's still a lot left.
Yeah, it's a ton of stuff left. So so there's a lot of different stories about a lot of different people. So anywho, that is Being Eddie, and I just thought it was phenomenal, and I'm sorry I talked about it so long.
You're good because it's a good thing. So
it is a really, really good movie to watch, and like I said, it's on Netflix, and it has everybody. I think I said Seinfeld. Yeah, you said Seinfeld, I was like making sure that we talked about everybody. Although some of what Seinfeld was saying, just as a sidebar, I was like, is he kind of salty that there's a documentary about it? Because some of the tone was just like, okay, is Seinfeld
Seinfeld is that's just him.
Yeah, he's just
that's
different.
just him. He's slightly an asshole.
Okay, so maybe that's what.
Like you didn't see the thing where Kesha was going to. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm such your biggest fan!" Like, and this is Kesha at her highest. And she was like, "Can I give you a hug?" He said, "No, thank you." Okay, bye. She was like, "Are you serious?" He was like, "Yeah, no."
But I mean, that's a personal space
That's
violation.
him. He's going to speak his mind.
So, him and Larry David.
Yeah, him and Larry David.
That's probably why they got along so well.
Absolutely.
So, but I was just like, because he almost was making it sound like it was so much easier for Eddie than it was for the rest of us. And I was just like, I don't know about that.
Or maybe I think that he was probably saying it came easier for Eddie
maybe
than the rest of them.
More of it. But I don't know. You all listening, you judge. So anyway, that's it. Being Eddie.
On Netflix.
On Netflix. Okay, what you got?
All right, I want to talk about another movie that's on Netflix called Bad Shabbos.
Bad Shabbos. Never heard of that.
And I'll go through the cast. You have there's a lot of these people that I don't know, some of these people that I do. So you have Melania what the heck is that name? It's not Trump, but it's something else. She plays Abby. You have Kira Sedgwick, who plays Ellen. You have David Paymer, who plays Richard. And everybody knows him because he's the guy from Ocean's 11 that is inside of the hotel room, and they keep putting they put stuff on his pillows, and he was supposed to be talking about being a critic for the hotel or casino or whatever, and they do all this stuff to him, and he's like rotten eggs smelling. He's just like, oh, my room is the worst. So he's like, they're trying to make sure he gets a bad review. So you also have him in there. You have Ashley Zuckerman. I don't really know him from a lot of things, but I've seen him on some stuff. He plays Benjamin. You have Method Man, METHOD Man. You have him on here. He plays Jordan. You have Catherine Curtin, who plays Beth. You have John Bass, who plays David. You have Megan Leathers, who plays Meg. And there's not really... Oh, wait, one more kid that you really can know about. Theo Taplitz, who plays Adam. So, this is what it is. So, you have Abby, who is married to Ben. Right?
Okay.
Abby's mother is Ellen, played by Kira Sedgwick, and then you have Richard, who plays by David Paymer, and Abby's brother is John Bass, who's David, and then his fiance is Meg, and then their little brother is Adam.
Okay.
So these are the main characters that you're seeing. Method Man is the doorman at their swanky a New York apartment that, has a doorman, and the apartment is the size of the entire building.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's a 30-something-year-old Jewish man who's David. He brings his fiance that is studying to go ahead and what is it called when you're trying to change your religion from
I know what you're talking about.
But she's studying to be Jewish,
Yeah.
right? So she can change her religion, and they're headed to Shabbat.
Yes.
All right, so they're heading there to his New York family's, big apartment. And the doorman makes himself part of the family. So, like, when the father walks in, he's like, hey, man, it's good to see you. They got, like, a handshake. They were talking back and forth. He's like, he's seen them grow up, and everything. So he's like, I remember you when you was just in high school and you was getting picked on. And blah, blah, blah. So like he's always talking to the father and like remembers the son when he was younger, whatever. But he feels like he's in good with the family. Okay. But he also knows that it's all about, the family. Like he's all in their business, but he's like, I know I'm not part of the family, but I'm gonna look out for you. Like I'm part of your family. Okay. Because that might be the only family in the whole building that talks to him because he's a doorman.
Yeah.
Thinking about it that way. So the sister Abby is married to a douchebag, and that is Benjamin. And he always picks on the youngest brother, Adam. And the youngest brother is probably a little bit on the spectrum. He's like socially awkward.
Okay.
And he's very much to himself and everything, but he's also super spoiled. So it's like, okay, it's like, what do you want to eat? He's like, I'm not hungry, Mom. She's like, okay, well, Mommy will make you a sandwich whenever you're ready. Something like that. Gosh, yeah. And what happens is Ben is always picking on Adam. Mm-hmm. Ben, the brother-in-law, is always picking on Adam, and he just won't stop. So and then Adam is like, I have to do something to get this guy back. Mm-hmm. So the mother is very much in denial. She's there, but she's not there. Like, it's like one of those mothers, like, I see this is happening, but I'm just going to look away.
Yeah, I'm
not going to pay attention, The father is so proud to have all of his children. He's the proud father. Okay. It's like, he will do anything and everything for them. He's their biggest cheerleader. Aww. He loves them. So as they're getting ready to sit down for Shabbat, something dramatic happens. I won't go into exactly what it is, okay. But now there's a dead body in the apartment. So the issue is, this is also the night where the future daughter-in-law, Meg, is bringing her parents to meet Adam's parents.
Got it.
So now it's like, well, we have a dead body in here. So like, what are we going to do? And like, they're trying to like, they're basically going like around like, okay, your parents are late. So thank God that they're late. Mm-hmm. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out what we need to do with this. And then how can we figure out this? And we have to figure out that. But they're also not letting the parents know.
Okay.
So it's just the siblings.
Okay.
And they're just like, okay, wait, are you sure that he's dead? It's like, yeah, I'm sure that he's dead. And it's like, okay, so we have to figure out what is happening, what's going on. Mm-hmm. So because of all this happening, Meg and David does like, we can't call 911 because my parents are on the way. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be like a bad look because they're from like, Wisconsin or something like that. So like, why didn't you, you're looking at it like, why don't you tell somebody? But it's a movie and this is how it has to work for it to be,
be a movie.
Yeah, for it to be a movie. So like they're talking, they're in the room, they're whispering back and forth and this is happening. And then it's like, you hear something and then the parents are like, what is going on? It's like, nothing, Mom, we're good. She's like, okay, sweetheart, not paying attention. And the father's just like, I love my kids. They're always together. They love each other so much, not paying attention that they're now trying to figure out what to do with this dead body that is in the bathroom beside the kitchen.
Did you just tell us what it was?
No. I said, I'm saying that I told you I didn't tell you exactly everything that happened, but the whole movie is about there is a dead body. There is a dead body in the apartment. Okay. So it's about them like basically trying to figure out what they're going to do in order to not have the parents see there's a dead body in here. So and then they're like, okay, all right, they can come for about an hour, and then the parent, like the in-laws will leave, and then we'll be here, and then we can go ahead and figure out what to do with the body. Now what happens? Nope. Now the parents know. So now the parents are like not the in-laws, not the in-laws, but the actual parents of Adam, Abby, and Dave. So they're just like, okay, this is happening. Okay, but your parents are on the way. She was like, yeah, well, they're running late. They're running behind because they are leaving from somewhere else. And then ding dong. Well, how did you get up here to the door? Who is it? Jordan standing there, Method Man. Hey, I knew they were coming up, guys, so I went ahead. I didn't even let you guys know that they were on the way. I got them straight up here to the door, showed them where the place was. So, I hope y'all enjoy. I didn't want y'all to stop what y'all were doing in order to have to get the door for them. Since they were running late, because he knows everything that's happening. So it's the in-laws are sitting there, so you have the two parents there, but the mother is like, I have to get them out. So the father's like, Bill, you know what? This is not a good time. Maybe we should just go ahead and reschedule this. And they were like, we flew here all the way from Wisconsin, and we are not going to leave. That's actually kind of rude. So and then it's like they are kind of getting stern with it, and it's like, okay, well. The wife gets up, the mother gets up, and she goes into the kitchen to go get her food. And then she comes back. She was like, well, clumsy me. I dropped dinner. And they were like, all of dinner? She was like, yeah, I dropped it. She was like, well, she said the cat knocked it over, and then he started eating it. And, I can't do it. They're just like, now they're trying to shove the in-laws out. And they're just like, this makes no sense.
Yeah,
and
like, what's happening?
but now it's so you're trying to do anything and everything to make sure that these people don't have a bad taste in their mouth about you. Because there's a dead body in there. Right. Regardless of the dead body being in there, they still got a bad taste in their mouth about you.
100%.
So
you might as well let them know, hey, something happened.
Exactly, but they don't. So then it's going more and more and more. They're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it. Next thing you know, why is Jordan sitting at the table with them? Jordan's supposed to be working the door. Yeah. No, Jordan is sitting at the table with them. And he's like giving them like some information about, you don't know about the Ethiopian Jews? Like he's just going into all this stuff saying that he's like a black Jew or whatever and going into this. So it's a quirky movie. The storyline, once again, hit or miss. But I think that the way that it's the scramble of everything that's happening that makes it kind of funny.
Okay.
So go ahead and check that out. Like I said, it is on Netflix, and it's called Bad Shabbos.
Okay. Well, there you go. Bad Shabbos. Is Shabbos the thing that you're supposed to do when you're trying to become a Jew? Like, is that the name of what it? Shabbos is the dinner.
Yes.
Okay.
Shabbat.
Yeah, so that's why I was trying to.
So they say good Shabbos. Like when you're doing Shabbat, so they say, okay, good Shabbos. Okay, all right, good Shabbos. But I don't know if it's like a day. Maybe it's the day where you're not supposed to do anything on Shabbat.
Yes.
So therefore, they weren't allowed to drive. They're not allowed to smoke, and like they can't eat. They can only eat after like the bread or something like that is broken. It's like it's a whole ritual to it. Yeah. So yeah, but I thought it was pretty cute. I thought it was, it's cute because of the fact that the things that people will do to make a great impression, and it ends up being a bad impression. That's all
Got it. All right. Well, there you go. Well, that is it for this week's episode of
Sestra-Tainment.
I hope that everybody has an amazing upcoming week.
Absolutely.
And we will do this all again as we're quickly approaching Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know, right?
How is the end of the year already here?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But
there's so much going on. And maybe because so much is going on, it makes it fly by fast.
It's flying by. So on that
and it's
note,
not fun.
Everybody have an amazing time this week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.